Well, welcome to the brand new video podcast, Remasculate, with my guest. Let me run through all the names. Rooster, the party starter.
Yeah,
Duran.
Duran, what's up, ladies? I'm Duran.
But you may know him as Darren Carter. Darren, welcome to the new Remasculate video podcast.
Man, thank you. This is great. Like, I've listened to Remasculate. How many episodes do you think you have? Do you have any idea?
There's hundreds and hundreds, because I'm on the 8 or 9 year of it, and there was several of those years I did it like just constantly, but now it's become like once a month or every other month, and but now that I've discovered this, I might go back to like doing it once a week again. But honestly, I've got several hundred podcasts.
It's great, man. You know, I think that having the video element to it really adds a lot, and I think from what I understand, people like consistency. You know, they like knowing like, hey,
it drops every Tuesday.
Month. Yeah, exactly, every Tuesday, and then there's there's some podcasts I like to listen to, and it's really cool when there's like 2 a week, and then every now and then they'll throw out a third one, and now it does become a thing where we do get a little bit more inspired when you do have like the big sponsors and the money coming in, because then you're like, oh yeah,
I got a reason to do it, you know.
Yeah, because it's a labor of love, but at the same time, like when you're getting some extra incentive, it's like, you know what, I think it's time to do a podcast.
Well, I've sort of, and I'm going to admit this on the podcast right now. A couple of years ago, there was so many threats of people threatening you and your career and cancel culture that they almost made me a little bit afraid. And I've never been that way before. Like, I'm going to say the wrong thing. They're going to take a snippet of this podcast, and I will never work again. I don't know if you've ever felt that, but at this point, I'm like, I'm not working now. I'm stuck at home.
Right.
Maybe, and then I saw a thing that Sam Kinison even said the other day about, you're never going to be like that famous if you're not that original. And P.T. Barnum even said, you have to be unique to be somebody. Don't be somebody else. And that's what I think so many people in L.A. have tried to do. They're like, I have to be an L.A. comic. I must talk about these topics. I must say only these things. I must agree to these parameters of everything.
Yeah. It's funny. It's funny you say that, because I was listening to another interview, and they were talking about this guy said something to the effect of, he goes, what kind of, like when there's a singer, they can say, my music's a little bit like Hank Williams Jr. and a little bit like Led Zeppelin or whatever. Like, so people can kind of get an image. Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's like a pitch meeting.
Yeah. When they go, what kind of comedian is he like? Like you kind of don't want to be like
anybody else.
Comedian. You want to, it's okay to be in a genre, like if we were all on the same radio station, but you want to kind of,
well, I think it breaks down to what that used to be. Are you a one-liner comic? Are you a prop comic? Are you an observational comic? I think that's a way to describe it, other than they go, I had a DJ one time, go, so you're a country comic. So what are you like Jeff Foxworthy? And I go, yeah, no, because I'm funny. And and I'm not slamming Jeff. I think Jeff is funny, but I just didn't like at that time somebody trying to pigeonhole me as like, oh, what do you think?
Right.
Do you think you're Jeff Foxworthy? No, I don't think I'm Jeff Foxworthy.
And I'm imagining this probably took place early in the morning when you just flew in the night before and you've had like 4 hours of sleep if you're lucky. And
exactly.
And it's almost like they're saying this thing to like belittle you. Like, what are you, like a Jeff Foxworthy kind of a,
Yeah, you're non-famous kind of guy working the club here in Cedar Rapids. What do you,
Yeah, you're the poor man's blah, blah, blah. It's like,
perfect example of saying that. Yeah. The poor man's or the, you're not the A club, but you're working the B club or whatever. Yeah. Just some way to slam you, Like somebody, I'm sick of the personal attacks that people do when, like on Twitter or Facebook, when they can't have a discussion. They're like, oh, this coming from a failed radio DJ. No, I'm not failed. I got 3 CMA awards. You know what I mean? Like, but that I hate. You want to have a debate? Let's have a debate. But I hate the personal attacks of today when there's nothing like, oh, you must be a Trump supporter. You know that? Okay.
You know, it's funny you say radio because comedy and radio is intertwined. I've been reading this book about the history of comedy, and a lot of the guys when the vaudeville houses closed back in the day and they couldn't tour, and they during the 20s. They moved over from the Depression. They moved over to radio, and then they got these big sponsors, and brought to you by the Crest Hour Comedy Hour.
Yeah.
So it's kind of neat, like how history sort of repeats itself.
Yeah, and I think that what we're doing now is going to be the next wave of comedy entertainment because the clubs are not going to be as packed as they used to be. People, I don't think are going to go out like they used to. I'm glad they do. Like I just did some shows. In Oklahoma City and Fort Worth, and we hit capacity. Where you used to say sold out. The club was sold out. Now we've hit capacity.
Yeah.
And so many people even then are like, hey, can you live stream your shows? Can you live? No, I don't want to live stream because then I'm not making any money off of it, But
you know what though, Steve? There's a way that people are starting to do that, like Nick DiPaolo live stream his show in Vegas, and or maybe it's coming up, I'm not sure. And then I heard Robert Kelly, Bobby Kelly. He's going to do a show somewhere. I don't know where it's at. Connecticut. I don't know where it's at. But so it's going to be, the 200 people that are there. But he's also, for extra money, he's live streaming it. So, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So that might be another.
There's a way to monetize almost everything, I guess, these days.
Yeah. So like you could make your money that you made in, Fort Worth or Oklahoma or wherever you toured. And then for an extra, hey guys, you can see me at the comfort of your own home. So then people in Seattle and Florida and, they can maybe see those shows. What I thought was interesting, and I want to go back and look at it. I saw, because I follow you on YouTube. You filmed yourself and it looked like you uploaded like almost all of your set from Oklahoma.
Yeah, I took about 45 minutes of the hour 15 that I did because I was working on a bunch of new stuff, which you probably saw, and that's kind of what I even said on YouTube. I'm trying to work out the new stuff, and that is a way to make money too because the views get paid on YouTube. So I'm not just sticking it up there for free. It is for free, but I still get paid because of the advertisement or viewership.
Yeah, and was that a little scary the first time you did that, where you're like, "Damn!" The reason I asked before you answer, because there are some comedians that have that mindset. Maybe they're kind of old thinking, but they're like, "I don't want to put my stuff out there because once people see it." But I was like, "That's pretty impressive, man." During a pandemic, Steve was like, hey, here I am. Boom, check it out.
Yeah. Well, I used to be that way about being scared about it. And I think that people want to hear it. They want to see it. They want to expose it. And I'm sure you've heard this now because I hear it more and more. Hey, we looked you up on YouTube and thought, yeah, let's go see this guy. So that's kind of an advertising for them to come. And then you will hear things at shows. Hey, you didn't do the thing about your cat. I brought my friend who loves cats, and you didn't do that bit. So they almost want to see what they've seen before.
Yeah, and you know what? I feel like it kind of challenges us because, sure, we can go back to the, as they say in like the hip hop world, like digging through the crates. Like you can go through the crates and be like, oh, I'm going to do that joke, and that joke. But also, I think that there's something interesting about challenging yourself because in your mind, like 6 months from now or a year or whatever, your set's not going to be exactly the way it was that weekend that you were in Fort Worth, or Oklahoma. Like you had like the boot on your foot.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, there's going to be things that are going to be different. And
I had surgery on my foot. So I had something about it. But I can see that. I think that, I've done stuff where I wrote a bit. Like I used to do a lot of stuff for the Nashville network, and it was TNN at the thing. And I used to write jokes to go on the show. Like I was going to be on Crook and Chase or something, so I would write a couple of jokes. Wow. But then I would polish them for the club. And years later, you see that thing, and you go, "Oh man, that joke was not ready for TV." that was something I jotted down. You know what? By the time you flesh out a bit, you're like, I should have worked this out instead of writing it 4 days before I taped the show.
Yeah, and I think about this when I saw an interview with the creators of South Park, and they said the reason they would put out their, so like once a week, they would bust those episodes out. They're like, sure, we could put one out every month, and make it better, make it tighter. They thought, but is it going to really be that much better? Is it going to be like 1% better, 2% better? It's not going to be that much better. So they're like, it's better to put out 4 episodes that month than one,
Well, I did like some of the videos that I do, like Liberal Larry, those kind of characters. I grab an idea, I get an idea in my head, and a couple of jokes pop. I'm sure you do it the same way. You get an idea, and there's a couple of punchlines that immediately like, oh, like you don't take time to flesh it out. So I grab my camera, put on my outfit, and I just start and I improvise. And then I'll watch the video 2 or 3 times after I've posted it and be going, damn, I should have said this I could have wrapped it up with this. And then I think, you know what? This is fine because people don't know that I'm judging myself, So
yeah, they're just getting a kick out of it.
So it's hard to think, but do I want to work this like a painter? Should I? I'm doing this painting and I think it's done, but if I set it aside for 3 days and I come back to it, I might see something I can fix. Well, I don't want to do that with a video, especially with comedy. Comedy is very timely, especially as the first one that gets that out, the first one. Because I posted videos and they're like, hey, Steven Crowder already said that. Well, I didn't know that,
Yeah, I know, man. I know. Like, I think what's the thing now? I think the thing that they're kind of goofing on is Alec Baldwin's wife, something. She pretended to be from Spain or a Spanish accent.
Yeah, Hilarina or something like that.
Yeah. There's like a video of her. Like,
Hilaria.
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 What do you call that? What is that? It's called in the English, it's a cucumber. And then it turns out she's from like Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Like, really?
Well, the first time I saw that word, the hilaria in the article, I thought it was a combination. I thought it was a new disease. Like they were blaming Hillary, they combined Hillary and malaria for like, that's the new name for the virus, I've got hilaria.
Yeah. That's cool when you can go into your characters. I finally did a video where I did a character and it's kind of cool because I think that I'm actually I prefer to be funny in characters than I do as the narrator, as myself. Like I put up one the other day where it's like the split screen and there was a car in my hometown of Fresno that was somebody had covered with pennies and they decorated their car with pennies. And I thought there's something funny about that. So I wrote down every joke I could think of about pennies. And I had a mic and I split the screen and I did a couple of jokes where I'm sort of roasting.
Yeah.
And then I thought, let me just become the character. So then I put on a wig and a thing and I act like I was the guy. And I was like, and I pretend I was making a phone call and I was like, yeah, mama. Yeah, it rained last night. My car turned green.
It's more fun, don't you think?
Yeah. It's more fun. It's like
it takes you out of your own head. It's kind of like the article. I don't know if I told you this on the podcast before, but I read an article about the actor Michael Madsen, who is one of my favorite actors, and he said that he can't doesn't audition well, but if you put him in costume, you can become that character. You're ready to play. Just like, okay, now I'm a gunslinger. I'm a badass cowboy. And that's exactly what. And you felt it when you put on the wig, or I put on the glasses and the pink hat. All of a sudden, oh my God, I'm Larry. Yeah.
Yeah. What's funny is comedians we're like that. I have certain clothes that I only wear on stage, certain shoes.
Right, me too.
I got that. You know what I mean? And when I put those, I hadn't done a show in like a couple months. And I remember back in like May or whatever it was. And I put those clothes on for the first time. I felt like a superhero again, man. I put on my special
I'm
Adidas
a superhero.
Yeah, I got my little flashlight that I break out, with the flashlight, the crowd. And I felt good. And I was talking to a relative once at a Thanksgiving gathering. And he's a carpenter, and he said the same thing with him when he puts on his work boots. And he goes, when I strap that belt on, his tool belt, he goes, I feel like it's Batman's utility belt. So I think all walks of life, if they, maybe especially if they love what they do.
Yeah.
when they put that thing on, they're just like, yes, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess when a hooker puts on those boots, she's
Exactly.
like, I'm ready to go to work.
I'm ready to make some money, baby. Yeah. Got my little coin purse here to make my change. Yeah. When the stripper puts on those go-go boots with the goldfish inside the heel of it.
Yeah, you know? Yeah. I used to do a joke a long time ago about, remember that club Deja Vu? The strip club Deja Vu? Their slogan was 99 good-looking women and one ugly one. That was the slogan. Not 99 good-looking women and one ugly one. I go, well, apparently 99 called in sick the night I was there.
Yeah.
I go, apparently this woman knew she was so ugly. I go, this dancer had a tattoo of a bullet wound. And I go, she was so ugly, she would hand you money back and go, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know. I'm sorry.
I know. I wonder if a company would even be allowed to say that, nowadays, like, one ugly one, I mean, it's all in fun and it's a joke, but you never know. People might do some letter writing campaign. You can't do that. You can't say that.
I think it's time to get back to just do it and don't be afraid. We got to. I was watching Friends. My wife is a big Friends addict, and I never was big on Friends because, as you know, we worked most nights at the comedy clubs. So I didn't watch Friends. So I'm into the reruns. They say things on there they would not get away with today, even on Friends, where they're making gay jokes about Joey and Chandler, this kind of stuff. Or you're like, oh, or they were talking about the fat one, Or even the other night, I'm watching one of my favorite Christmas shows, Love Actually. I don't know if you're a fan of Love Actually, and they kept referring to one of the girls. Oh, you mean the chubby one? Oh, you mean the fat one? Well, her hips are quite, like. And today they'd be like, that's not politically correct. You shouldn't make fun of somebody's weight. That should not be a character. Yeah. That shouldn't be the joke.
Right. Yeah, that happened. I was watching Anger Management with Adam Sandler and Jack Nicholson, and there's a scene where Woody Harrelson plays a transvestite prostitute, and he's talking like this. And at one point he gets out of the car and he goes, okay, that's enough. And he goes, you guys are weird. And and what's funny is the fact that he changed his voice like that. And then he's like, you guys are weird, Yeah.
But what are you supposed to do? I don't understand because the whole point of like literary works is you need a protagonist. You need somebody to be the bad guy. You need the good guy and the bad guy. Well, all of a sudden you can't have anybody the bad guy because what'd you make the Mexicans the bad guy? Why are they always the bad guy? Why'd you have the Arabs blow up the building? What was that? Like, there has to be a storyline. Well, like everybody's perfect. This movie sucks.
I think what you could do is just take it to like the animal world or something, right? Like it all takes place in a barnyard or something. And that way no people were hurt in this project.
Oh, so now it's all Animal Farm. We've gone to the book Animal Farm. Well, I've said this about commercials that I think, so they don't say, well, why'd you have a black person say, I sure love McDonald's. Why'd you do that? Why don't we just have now a computer voice for no matter who it is? I sure love McDonald's. You know what I mean? Just that way nobody...
I am loving it.
Right. Yeah. Why'd you have to do an Asian accent? Well, computer, say the words. Stop the pump yourself.
Oh, yeah, we were watching a Christmas Story. And there's a scene where the family goes to the Chinese restaurant, and the Asian waiters are singing fa la 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 la, but they're singing with the
fa ra 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 ra. And he's like, no, it's fa la la, yeah, fa ra ra, no, yeah, hilarious.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I think things were made in a certain time, and then when we try to look it up to today's lens, it's and words change. They mean, there's so many songs that had the word gay in it back in the day, and you hear a lot of those songs during Christmas time, right? Like something like "dressing gay," or I don't know what the words.
Mary,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Put on our gay apparel, fa la 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 la.
Exactly.
Put on my gay apparel.
Yeah.
So now we've just canceled ourselves right there. See that little clip right there will be on. See what these two guys.
Christmas tunes, man, got us canceled.
Well, speaking of which, how was your Christmas? Do you celebrate Christmas, or are you a Kwanzaa guy? I don't know what.
Oh, I love Christmas, man. Christmas is probably one of my favorite holidays. And it's weird that I have friends that don't like Christmas. And I'm like, how can you? And they're like, it's okay. And I don't know, they're a little bit bummed out and they're a little bit bitter towards it. But I love Christmas. And there's a funny thing that I like doing is the longer someone has their decorations up and I start to see them when I go for my walks or whatever.
Yeah.
I always put on my Instagram or do a little video and I go and I'll turn the camera at the last second. I'll go, hey, what's up, everybody? Having a great day. And then I'll show the decoration and I'll go, and we still celebrating Christmas. We ain't letting it go.
I love that.
And the more I'm telling you, because people will leave their Christmas lights up, in February and March, you'll still see that one deflated snowman, and
yeah.
So I love Christmas. This one was a little strange. I got to be honest, the 2020, just the way everything is, but I still love it. I like listening to the Christmas music, getting the Christmas movies. I had too much peanut brittle. It was a little different than normally. I didn't go to any Christmas parties.
Did you decorate the house?
Yeah, my wife decorated the house and like I said, we didn't have the big family gathering, so that part was a little different, but I love Christmas. How about yourself? Did you have a good one?
Had a good one. We decorated because of COVID. We decorated way early this year. Because my wife was like, we need a little joy. Let's just go ahead.
Yeah.
It's almost Thanksgiving. Let's go ahead and just put and we did a combo of fall, winter. You can do some fall, like oranges and leaves and stuff, and then you can have some snowflakes. So we sort of morphed it into fall, autumn, winter, Christmas. So it was up for a longer period of time. And my neighbors took their Christmas light. 3 of my neighbors took their Christmas lights down the day after Christmas. They were out there taking it. And I told Janet, I go, let's not take ours down till after the first of the year. And if you look out now, my neighborhood, there's still a lot of lights on. I like that people leave them turned on.
Yeah, I do too. There's something about like having that Christmas tree on with the lights on. It just brings joy to the house. It lightens it up. Here's the great thing, Steve. I've been married for 23 years. My wife, born and raised near Fresno. She grew up on a farm. She's got a great, farm background, very blue collar, and exactly. And she's Armenian, and my joke about that is I call her my little Farmenian,
Farmenian.
But yeah, and traditional Armenian, they don't celebrate Christmas till, get this, January 6th.
Why?
So in our Armenian family, it's totally okay to keep everything up till January 6th. And then I just found out this year, my brother-in-law, her brother, was saying that I don't know if they're really traditional Armenian this year. I guess it's not, Christmas isn't until like January 16th or something. So so it's okay to leave those decorations up for another month.
Old Armenian had a farm. E-I-E-I-O.
Come on, bro. You with some cologne over here? Come on, bro. And the Mercedes over there, bro. Yeah.
So how did you and your wife meet?
I got really lucky. I was at the Hollywood Improv, back when everything was open, back in the 90s.
The good old days, yeah.
Good old days. And, that Melrose Improv, when you'd walk in and you'd go and you'd look to the left, that's where the comedians would usually sit. And she was sitting in the back over there, just, on vacation or whatever. She came down from the farm, loved comedy. And I struck up a conversation with her, and it turns out, hey, I'm from Fresno, you're from there, and we just kind of had this connection, and yeah, man, 10 months later we got married. So
10 months later,
10 months, man. We have a son. He's 13 years old. He's got a deep voice, and he's a musician. I've
seen some of the videos, the music videos that you and he have posted together.
He wrote a Christmas song. Actually, it's called "Santa Claus Lives on the Farm," and He wrote it on a Thursday. We filmed it on a Saturday. He uploaded it on Sunday. And the local radio station in Fresno, the country station, they played it and they interviewed him. And it was amazing. It's just that's what's cool about this technology and this kind of thing, But if people want to check it out, go to his name is Austin, and his channel is called Aus the Bass Boss. Or go to my YouTube channel, Darren Carter, and the links are all on my channel, so you'll find it.
Well, sweet.
I can't sing, but it goes something like, Santa Claus lives on the farm. I saw him in his little barn. I can't sing, but that's the idea of it.
Did they play it a lot, or just one or two times? Did they put him in rotation for Christmas?
They played it. Had him do it live, like via like Zoom or something. So, but they took up like 8 minutes, like interviewing him, having him play it, talking with them.
That is so
and
cool.
I told my wife, I go, can you imagine being like 13, like having that happen? And plus, I would say that there's like quote real artists with like record companies. They would love to have 8 minutes or on a radio station. I mean, that's huge. I mean, as a comedian.
Oh, yeah. Well, as you know, like you said, I bet it was early one morning. You just flown into town. You're on for like 4 or 5 minutes sometimes, if that. Yeah. And you're like, was that really worth me getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to drive across town to go home for 5 minutes? Are you telling me that some bitch couldn't have just called my hotel room and said, hey, welcome to town?
One time I did a station, and I love the guys. They were very nice, and the club's closed, and there's no comedy there, but I'm just saying they were great. But one morning it was awful. It was in Columbia, Missouri. I got the rental car.
Deja vu.
I'm deja vu, and I'm driving from the hotel to the radio station, and the steering wheel was it was in the 20s that night. So the steering wheel was just so cold. I didn't have my gloves on me, and I was like, dang, it's cold. And so I get on the station, and he literally had me on for 35 seconds. He goes, hey, we got Darren Carter, Deja Vu. Darren, how was your drive here this morning? And I go, oh, man, the steering wheel was so cold. I wish I would have had like mittens or gloves or something. He goes, come check out Darren. And then that was it.
And that was it. And you were thanks for coming in. Thanks for dropping by.
Yeah, I was just thinking we were doing a little bit of small talk before we got into it, and that was it, man. There was he goes, I'm so sorry, man. I'm so behind. And he was telling me about the PPM, the people meter.
Yeah, people meter had just kicked in. That was one of the big things that I hated about what happened with radio. The people meter, they can see exactly everything to the minute, spikes, drops, everything, and so they can say, okay, you were talking to that comic, and look with the ratings. You dropped like 10 people right then. So they started cutting back on all that stuff instead of just saying, looking at the show. How was the all day of the show? And I go, you can't judge this because people could get out of their car right at that time. They could not even be listening, and it drops off, and it looks like you dropped off.
Yeah.
And see that people meter was kept alive by motion. That they were things you carried so you could listen to it. They found out they were connecting those gadgets to people's dogs. They had them They had them on ceiling fans they were just going, and they weren't even real. So you were getting false information from these people meters.
Yeah, see, and that's another thing. It's like I think, I want to be aware of some things, like with YouTube. Like I don't really want to dive deep into my YouTube analytics and be like, because then you'll just go nuts. And I'm like, let's just keep putting content out, do what entertains, do what people like. Don't.
Well, my wife and I...
Am I right? I don't know.
No, you are right. And I was about to just agree with you on that because my wife and I, we have our channel on YouTube, The Wrinkled Sheets, and we do Vlogmas every year. You may have seen that couple of videos if you looked, where Vlogmas is vloggers of YouTubers all around the world for the first 25 days of December shoot video every day. It's called Vlogmas Day 1, Vlogmas Day 2. And we had normally always done it just on that channel. Well, this year I decided to put it on my channel too. I started losing subscribers like crazy on my channel. The views on the videos were up, subscribers were down. So all right, why? Do the people that only want to see comedy go, why is he putting this crap up here? I don't want to see his wife. I want to see Larry. I want to see Conspiracy Theory Carl. But at the same time, the viewership was there. So what do? Do you go, okay, I lost some people that don't really matter, but I am making more money and having more views because people like this. So analytics can really screw with your head.
Yeah, and I would think, I mean, I could see why they would be, like you said, people sign up for one thing. Like, I signed up to this channel to, learn about cameras. Like, this guy was going to do, camera reviews, and all of a sudden he's vlogging with his wife. What the hell? I get that, or whatever,
Right.
But at the same time, I wonder if, like, did this happen? Like, maybe they dropped off the first 2 weeks because they're like, I don't want to see this. But then does it start to pick up because people? Because I would think that the more you increase,
I'll have to check. That's a good idea. I will check to see what it did, because I looked and saw that it did that and thought, I don't care. I'm doing this. Especially with COVID, I need the extra cash. I'll take the viewers, because I have almost 11,000 followers on my YouTube channel.
That's awesome.
Typically, my videos run like 300-400 views up to sometimes 16,000. It really depends. It's really weird. But if 10,000 subscribers watch your video, you should be getting a regular, thousands of views. So I don't know how YouTube works. Does YouTube let everybody know there's new stuff, or do people just subscribe and never come back? Or, I don't understand how YouTube actually works.
I mean, they always say some of the big YouTubers that got it down. They're like subscribe and ring that notification bell. That way you'll know whenever I have an upload or something. So I think they're supposed to subscribe and hit the bell. I don't know.
Do you tell everybody that in your videos?
I should. I don't.
I
sometimes forget, I put a little GIF that's like subscribe, and if I remember, I'll tell them, but the guys that are pretty good at it, they'll make sure they do it, and they say it a funny way. Like, there's a bass player that my son watches. His name is Davey504, and he's always like, and make sure you slap the like button. So. Because they slap the bass.
Slapping the bass.
So people, they're conditioned. I got to slap like. My son is conditioned.
Yeah.
Whenever he watches a video, because he wants to help, he'll watch someone's video, he'll subscribe, he'll hit like, he'll leave a comment that's complimentary. And then at one point, my wife was like, because these kids are going to school online. She's like, no, Austin, you're subscribed to like 1,000 people or whatever it is. She's like, you're getting notifications all day. No wonder you're getting distracted. Like you're supportive, but don't subscribe to all these people.
Would you have to though? Because I don't know how. Yeah. I know on Twitter, for me, I'm a follow back person. A lot of people told me that, you don't have to do that. If the numbers look wrong, it looks like you're begging for followers or so. But to me, if I want people to follow me, why wouldn't you want me to follow you? I believe, and it makes people happy. They'll write me a direct, oh, I'm so glad you followed me, Because
I want to tell you something that's really funny, and I almost feel like your audience, I can tell you this, and I mean, I know that this is kind of private, but not really, but this made me laugh. Okay, I know what I'll do. I'll tell you the story, but I'm not going to say the comedian's name. I'll tell you off the air.
Okay.
There's a comedian, and he's a nice guy. I really do like this person as a person, but he needs attention, and he's doing crazy stuff. And in his Twitter bio, it says something like president of Antifa. And he's doing crazy stuff, like taking a bullhorn and yelling at cops. I don't know what's wrong with this guy. But there's another comedian. Shout out to Earl Skakel. Earl blasts this guy on Twitter a lot. I don't know if you know who Earl is.
No,
Earl
but I'll
doesn't
look it
care. Up. Earl's hilarious, and Earl will just roast this guy. Earl was on like Roast Battle on Comedy Central, and one of the things that Earl did is he took a screenshot of this comedian, and he was like, "Really?" He goes, he goes, "This isn't how it works, buddy." And basically, this guy is like following 35,000 people, but he only has but he has less followers. So it's like usually when you follow a bunch, you have more followers.
Right.
His was way out of whack. The
ratio was off.
Yeah, his ratio was wrong. It was the other way.
Yeah, usually what happens to those guys, they think if they follow a bunch, they'll get followed back. And see, what I do is if they follow me, then I follow back.
Yes.
So it's not I'm not following just to get people. You follow me, I'm being gracious enough to go, let's all be friends here.
Also, you have you're giving good content. You have there's a reason people follow you, you know?
Yeah.
This comic I'm talking about, I don't know, man. Something went haywire. And
well, don't you think it's hysterical that you see some of these people that are just absolute, like, just, I'm going to say it, I don't care, left-wing wing nuts, just loonies, and they think they're leading the Civil War, then they're putting out the most vile hatred stuff, and then they'll have 2 likes on their post.
It's like,
and then I'll put out a joke and have like 13,000 likes, and they're like, "You're an idiot. You're an idiot." I'm the idiot. Okay, you have no likes to your posts that are supposed to be like, "Ha ha, Trump is the biggest." Blah 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 blah.
I think what it is, and I think they want to. They're almost like, I'm going to say this crazy thing, and then it's almost like I'm going to take it to my overlords. Like, look, you guys, look what I said. But they're not going to be accepted by these top level celebrity stars. I don't care what they're doing. I feel like those are the kings and queens in that world, and you're like a little pawn. These people, and they're like, look what the cat dragged in. Like, look what I said. That was so mean.
Yeah, I hope Patton Oswalt likes mine.
Exactly. It's like, I'm just. For me personally,
David Cross. You know, remember the comic David Cross?
Yes. Yeah.
I saw a tweet from him the other day where it was talking about unity, like, okay, the election's over, it's time for us to get together as a country and heal. I can't remember if it was Biden or Kamala Harris who posted it. It was one of those two that posted it. And he said something like, fuck that, I want blood.
Oh, God.
Like, isn't that what happened to the unity? What happened to we're tolerant people. We're the ones that that's what makes us mad out here, is like, you're a bunch of lying hypocrites. We see it, and we're not going to tolerate it anymore.
I have a friend that he definitely leans right, and he puts himself into, basically he pisses people off because he doesn't want to wear a mask, and so anyways, long story short, he said he's had people tell him, like, they're like, I hope you get COVID and die. And it's like, well, you're supposed to be so caring. Like, I don't know, man. I don't want to live in that world. Like, I don't want to make video, because this guy that I'm talking about, he's a comedian, really nice guy, really funny guy. But he's gone into the world of like, I'm going to push the issue. And I mean, he goes into grocery stores and they're like, sir, can you please put the mask on? And he's like, nope, call the cops. And I'm like, oh, dude, just do it.
Well, I do it.
Yeah.
I put on the mask. I don't really want to. I think it's one of those things. I'd like to protest like him, but that's one of the reasons I just, here we go. I'm ready to go. Yeah. I never thought I'd walk into a bank like this.
Right.
Sorry,
I know it's weird. I mean, today I did that. I went to this little taco shop in Burbank, and I start to walk in, and I'm like, oh wait, I got to put the mask on, and it's just one girl that's working there by herself. At least in the front. I felt almost like a criminal because I'm like, because I went right to the door. I saw her, she saw me, and then I put my mask on, and I'm like,
go down the tacos.
Exactly. I want some green salsa, some red salsa.
Yeah, but I'll do this, or I'll shoot some of the vlog where I'm out, in a store or a restaurant, and then comments underneath it. Why do you have that stupid mask on? Why don't you, what? I thought you were one of us. Like, I am one of you, but I'm following the rules because I at least want to go in here and get my food and get out without any trouble. I don't give a shit. I'm just going to be in and out.
I'm like, pick your battles, guys. Like, let's just,
Yeah, I will fight this in a different way. I'll fight it on Twitter.
Yeah,
but not
exactly.
Now.
I'm a huge fan of Kid Rock. I've seen him in concert. I met him. He's just, I like him in interviews. When I watch Kid Rock, what I like about Kid Rock is, besides his live performances, like when he paired up with like Hank Williams Jr.
Oh,
like he's kind of like opened my mind to like stuff of artists that I knew of, but I'm like, when he's, it's great. It's like, it's almost like a gateway drug, like a gateway artist, I never really heard that song "Luckenbach, Texas" until I heard him sing it.
Are you serious?
I'm totally serious.
That's one of the biggest country songs of all time.
I know. I never heard. We're going back about
only two
15
things
years.
in life that make it worth living:
exactly.
guitars and two firm feeling women.
Yeah. Yeah, get it, Steve. Yeah.
Let's go to Lukenbach, Texas.
Texas.
Waylon and Willie
and the boys.
Yeah, there you go. See?
Yeah. But I like that one part of the song. They talk about having a 4-car garage.
Yeah. And they're still building on.
Yeah. 4-car garage is kind of, I mean, it is big, but I mean, nowadays, I mean, these guys have like giant garages, you know. Like,
yeah, but you got to remember that was recorded in like 1973 or 4, and you know, even Elvis's mansion didn't have. Which, speaking of which, I don't know if you've ever been to Elvis. You've been to Graceland?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Were you not surprised how small it was? I mean, it's a bigger house, but I always thought Graceland was like the Beverly Hillbillies mansion, you know?
Yeah.
And then you go there and you go, this is just a 2-story house with columns in front of it.
Yeah, you're like, it's big, but it's not. I mean, I was pretty impressed with those front gates, right? With Elvis and the musical notes.
Yeah, yeah. Have I ever told you, or have you ever heard about me being kicked out of Graceland so many times?
No, really?
Yeah. I've pulled some crap in
really?
Yeah.
Was that back in your Pompadour days?
Yes,
Elvis?
yes, it was. Yeah. The first time, I'm trying to remember all the time. The first time we was a bunch of comics. We took the tour, and they had Elvis's jumpsuits in the hall, and it was like like 73, 71, 72. It had the years, and I just go, shouldn't these be getting progressively bigger? And the lady's like, sir, if you can't be nice, we're going to have to ask you to leave. You know, that was the first time.
Yeah.
The other time, this is so bad because I'm an Elvis fan. I love Elvis. I played Elvis in Dolly Parton's show. I mean, I don't know if you knew that. I sang Elvis with Dolly at one point.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you did?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
I worked for her. I was her opening act. I did stand up with that because I had the pompadour. But then in the middle of the show, I came out dressed as Elvis, and we did this whole little comedy skit where I came out and sang, "You ain't nothing but a hound dog crying all the time," and then she'd come out and go, "Elvis, I thought you left the building." I just left the buffet, that kind of thing. And it was this whole stupid little. But I'm a huge Elvis fan. But as a comic, you see these potential jokes. Like when you take the tour, you come out and you come out in the gym at the very end of the tour, and she goes, "Elvis was playing racquetball the afternoon he died." And I go, "That fat bastard couldn't play pinball the day he died." Sir, you're going to have to leave. And then the other time, I was with another comic who actually did this, and I got in trouble with him. The grave is right there in the backyard.
Yeah, and the three graves, right? The three of them, I believe.
Yeah, and he snuck in the supersized McDonald's French fries. Oh, God. And he laid them on the grave and spread them out like a bouquet of flowers. And we were both pretending to cry. And they were like, "You got to go." So...
Yeah, and you know what's funny to the listeners and the viewers? I bet you, I'm just guessing, this is probably pre-YouTube. You guys just did it for your own kick.
Yeah, totally. This was probably mid-'80s or, even earlier.
There was no filming it. There was no recording it for a radio station.
Can you imagine how viral that shit would have gone today if we would have done that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Hey, maybe it's a blessing that it didn't happen. What if,
Killed your career.
Yeah, exactly. He disrespects the king.
King, yeah.
No, I remember. Okay, so I've been really once. I actually took the tour back in '93, but I went twice. The first time I went on a family vacation from California. We drove out there, among other places. We went to Opryland, and it was great, But we didn't get to go in to take the tour because Elvis's father had passed away, and I want to say it was closed down for 6 weeks. So we didn't get to go, but we got to talk to, I think his name is Vernon, maybe Elvis Presley's
Vernon was his dad, yeah.
Okay, not Vernon. It was Virgil, maybe?
Could have been.
It was his brother's. I want to say it was his brother's, and he would meet people at the gate and stuff, and and my dad had like the sideburns, so I don't know. He knew we were fans and didn't mean any harm, but he talked to my dad, and And so we didn't get to go. But I got to go as an adult.
Yeah.
And
well,
it was something.
I had a joke that I used to do, which would now be totally politically incorrect. I go, people, you ever been to Graceland? I go, man, that was just that was a hillbilly with money. I mean, that's all that was. I go, that place is so tacky. There was Puerto Ricans walking out going, man, that was tacky.
Yeah.
But
now,
oh my God, why would you say that? Why would you stereotype a group of people?
I know. What would you have to say? Now you'd have to
what would be the joke? I mean, how would you set that? Because at the time that joke killed in the comedy clubs.
Yeah.
What is the punchline now? That place is so tacky.
See, I don't know.
It's just tacky.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, other hillbillies thought it was tacky. I mean, everything could just be on yourself or something. I don't know.
Well, that's why. Don't you see a lot of the newer comics don't have any punchlines? It's almost like they want you to go. Don't you hate it when that happens? Don't you? Have you ever been at that and the bartender says this? Have you ever
said no one ever blah 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 asking for a friend blah blah blah
right? It's never a punchline because comedy has a punchline. Punchline means you're punching at something. The joke is about something. There has to be a victim.
Back when Jerry Springer show was on, I remember I saw you one time at the Ice House in Pasadena, and you were making fun of a state. I don't know what it was. Was it Mississippi?
Oh, Mississippi, yeah. Yeah,
and you were like, I think they just go door to door trailers. All right, you're next.
Your turn. Get your hey, we won a trip to Chicago. Get my good NASCAR shirt. Yeah,
that was hilarious. I mean, I watched you. Everything you said, I was like, this guy's hilarious. I mean, I always thought you were hilarious, but I was just like, it was incredible, man. Just to see that Ice House Comedy Club. How great is that room?
Oh, the best. Best. Well, we talked about this on your podcast, but I'll bring it up here because a lot of people now will see this new improved video version of Remasculate.
All right. Is this going to be on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, I'm put this on my YouTube channel.
All right.
So when I saw
I hope you don't lose any subscribers.
Yeah. Who was that ghost you had on your show?
I know, exactly. He's getting, look, I'll even get wider. All right, turn that light off.
But when I worked with you up in Fresno at Appleton's.
Yeah, his name is Ray Appleton. He's a talk show host on KMJ News.
Is he still there?
58.
Is he still doing it?
Is.
I gotta check that out.
Check that out. And the name of that, okay, so originally it was called the Athenian Restaurant, and it had like a Greek theme.
I remember this, how it looked, yeah.
So and then when Ray took over, it was called Screwballs. And so you're probably thinking of Screwballs.
No, the T-shirt I have just has an apple, and it says Appleton's.
Oh wow. Okay. Wow, it's interesting. I didn't know that.
That's the one I have. But I remember working with you up there, and I thought, this kid's funny. This kid's got something. This kid's gonna. And then you did the movie. You hadn't been doing comedy that long, and you got into the movie with Travolta.
Yep, that was called Be Cool. Be Cool with John Travolta.
And I thought, Jesus, this kid's zooming right past me. This kid is. And
that's so funny that you think that, because so I started comedy in '89, and that movie. Well, no, let's just say I started in '90. '90 is really when I started, because that's when you're like your first paid gig on the road.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I do remember. It's so funny because. When I met you, it usually works like this. Like the openers know the headliners probably don't really remember the openers. And that would probably be our case. Cause I remember seeing you like in the early 90s, like at San Jose at the Last Laugh, and just destroying, like they'd play Garth Brooks, Friends in Low Places. You'd hit the stage and just kill and crush, destroy. They'd be eating you out of the palm of your hand. I mean, and then I remember, did you used to have a joke or maybe an album called Pig Sex?
Yeah, that was the title of an album that I did for Truck Stop Comedy.
So it was probably like some of that material from back then. And then, anyways, whatever. So I'd see you like just killing. And then I partnered with the, how Hollywood is, like at a management company. They're like, you need to get a sitcom. And they had me meet these different writers.
Me too.
And and one of the writers I met with, and I started working on this project. He used to work with you for your sitcom.
Which
I want to say his name was it Alan Moskowitz?
Alan Moskowitz. Yeah, Alan. Alan and I wrote several. He wrote the actual script we sold to Disney. Like I wrote the script. Disney said you need to be with a showrunner. He and I rewrote the script together. And then that's how we sold it to Disney. But then he and I wrote a couple more ideas for sitcoms that we didn't get sold. But Alan lives here in Colorado. He just moved here just recently to Colorado.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's so weird that you were working with Alan. You must have. Were you with APA too?
Yep, I was with APA.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think at that time we'd written an animation project, a cartoon. But it's he hadn't really done animation, neither had I, and so some of those questions, isn't that like a gut punch when you people believe in you, and then you get these pitch meetings, and then you're like, oh wow, this is a lot harder than I thought, because they'd be like, they would ask you all these questions like, so who is your audience for this? What age range? And so why don't you? And you're just like, oh, I didn't know there's gonna be a quiz.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I got so many times you feel like, and even Roseanne used to tell me, because Roseanne Barr, as you know, and I are friends, when I got signed with APA and I sold the sitcom, she's like, oh, welcome. Can you feel your roller coaster going up? Because once it hit, your life will never be the same. And I can tell you about 4 or 5 times in my career that I got right here, and then the roller coaster started just rolling back, selling something to writing it, selling it to Disney, getting signed with APA. I was with William Morris in a short period. Like, okay, now I'm with a bigger agency, and now I'm like, and then I signed with Herb Nanis was my manager. Herb Nanis worked with Sylvester Stallone and produced the movie 2 Days in the Valley. Okay, this is going to be good. Like so many times. And you finally go, I'll believe it when it happens. Then you start going, I believe it. And now I look back over the years and I go, I don't know what happened, what could have gone wrong. Because as you said, and I have a thing here in my file from Hollywood Reporter. I mean, not Hollywood, Variety magazine. There's a full-page ad that APA took out on me that says over 200 and something standing ovations this year. The hottest comic working like. There was a period when it looked like I could do no wrong. Or they, as you've heard, they'll call you the flavor of the month. It's like, it's going to be your time. Then you're like, what the fuck happened? I don't know. Who did I say wrong? Did I not kiss the right butt? Did I not say, oh, I'll drink some of that child blood too? I don't know. I don't know what.
What's great though is having this right here, having these phones, and also having our mind open to being able to do stuff like this, because there's a lot of guys, and what's funny is guys that like I'll just speak about you. Okay. Guys like you that crush. Have you ever noticed this? Like comics that I feel like that really crush, that's kind of where they get their jollies, and so they just crush, and then they go out and, like you said, 200 standing ovations. But the comics that don't really kill on stage, they don't really do that well. I think what happens is they don't get satisfied. So then they go home and they're like, damn it. And they start writing a script, and then those guys actually end up succeeding way beyond the guys that crush on stage.
No,
you know what I mean? Like,
I agree.
Like the mediocre comedians.
Yeah. Mediocre helps mediocre. My manager told me years ago that he thought one of the problems was, and this is not to boast. He goes, you're almost too good, because you're going to piss people off. They're going to be like, I could kill too if I just did nothing but wife jokes. I could kill too if I just did dog and cat jokes. Well, kill, then go out and kill. But he goes, they're going to badmouth you more than they're going to be like, the guy that I did the show with last week when we both just did okay. He and I are buddies. We're friends.
Yeah. Yeah. Those guys bond. And then that's why I think if there's anybody watching this that's a comedian and you kill, my advice is it's fine to kill, but also it helps if you're friendly and you're nice. Because I remember, like, there was a certain guy. I remember this one comedian. He would kill, and then he would just kind of like disappear. He'd be like, and he would just walk away. And people, the comedy community, they don't want to root for someone like that. Also, not saying that that's what happened with.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Know what I mean?
Yeah. But don't you, as a comic yourself, how many people can you name? I bet you can name more comics that kill out in the clubs than you can that kill around LA or they're famous.
Yeah.
Because I watch Netflix, specials every once in a while. I go, that guy got that special? Who greenlit that thing? And sometimes I think you're supposed to be too hip for the room. You're just supposed to be like, oh, I guess I'm supposed to know that joke, or I'm supposed to get that reference, or that's or I got the sitcom because I'm sleeping with the producer.
Right. It's but that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to wait for like Variety magazine or an agency to push me. It's like having, like I said, these phones, this camera, being able to do like this video podcast. I think this is cool because it gives people, I think the fans and the people that like what we do, that's what's going to push us now. This is 2021 and moving forward,
Right.
And we still need, I think, somebody to kind of help us. But in the meantime, I mean, I'm a big fan of this comedian. Do you watch Andrew Schultz at all? Do you see what he's doing?
No, I don't know
Andrew
that one.
Schultz. Oh, you would love this guy. He talks political stuff, but he talks contemporary stuff, and he doesn't hold back. He's not PC. And he tried to sell a special to Netflix years ago. They weren't interested, so he chopped up his Netflix. But what was going to be his Netflix, he chopped it up and made it into 4 parts because he said he asked just regular people, about the different Netflix specials that they watched, and every one of them said that they never would finish it. They would just watch it, but not finish it.
Yeah, so they'd watch 15 minutes of it and switch to something else.
And that's what he said. And so he put out on his own on YouTube, and then he continues to, like, where you and I would, especially back in the 90s, we'll say, we'd go to a town, we'd make some local jokes. It'd be funny.
Yeah.
That's it. Nowadays, like Andrew Schultz, he'll have like a lavalier mic, he'll have a camera crew, and he'll do those local jokes, but then he'll also do like a behind the scenes, like they'll be in the green room and they'll do like a quick little video podcast about going to the Cincinnati Zoo and this, and then I don't know, it's creating content, but it's entertaining and
I can see that would be fun. Like I know when I used to, you probably did the same thing when you go to a town, you go, hey, what street do all the hookers hang out on? Because I need that. I need that reference. Hey, what place do y'all go eat when the bars close? I know everybody goes to Taco Bell, but what's your local place? So I'd always do that to find local references, and people would be like, "Oh, he ate at the Blue Lion," that kind of thing.
Oh man, I got a story about that. I was doing a one-nighter, and I remember I like the show's in that room, and I went over to the bar. And I go, excuse me. I go, where do the hookers hang out? Where do people cruise for hookers? Okay. What about what's like the biggest high school where people would? And I'm asking these questions, and
you're asking the most bizarre questions.
And some lady was at the bar, and she goes, "Hey, Mister, you sure are hard up." She thought I was looking for a date or something. I was like, no, I'm a comedian. Like, where's the hookers? Where's the nearest high school? I mean, come on. Where's the strip club? Like,
well, it's kind of funny that you did it because you were asking the most bizarre, not the typical, like, hey, what's your grocery store chain? Hey, what's your ice cream hangout? You're like, hey, where's the high school? Hey, where's the playground?
Exactly. Where's the nearest playground? Yeah. Are there any bushes over there? No. Where can I buy binoculars? No, because at that time I was doing a joke about Bill Clinton, and I go, Bill Clinton's the kind of guy. Even after he's out of office, I think he's still going to be cruising the White House like those. I go, remember those losers in high school? They graduate and come back. I go, Bill Clinton's going to be in a lowrider, and I'll be like, sup. Big ups to my boo Hillary. That's my baby's mama. Hillary's got my back, and Monica's got my front. Yeah. By the way, I did that joke like way too long. I hung on to my Bill Clinton impression like way too long.
Oh, it still works. You could bring it back now. With everything that's been going on, you could actually bring it back. Like,
I know.
You think Bill's still giving Hillary pep talks? Oh, you could still do it. Run again in 2024. You
got this, Hillary. You got this. I know. I probably should bring it back. I felt like it was so funny when I would do that joke. Speaking of standing ovations, I did that a lot on BET, and it would crush. And I remember getting like standing ovations, and And but I didn't think it was really political. It was just funny because it was like. But I think now it would be, it's like I don't know.
There was so much good stuff back that you could do that everybody laughed at. Like when I go. Do you remember when Bill had to go on TV and actually apologize for lying? But remember, I did not have sex, but he went on TV and apologized. I go, man, if that had been me, my wife would have been under the table with a handful of balls. With everywhere, I did have sex with that little, like everything that I couldn't have so there's jokes that we could do that everybody would laugh at. But now I think we're so divided. If you did that, you're like, he's just up there slamming Clinton because he's a damn Trump guy, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. And the same thing, like if you were to do a Trump joke or whoever is going to be I don't know. And then everyone's like, oh, he's like this or he's like,
Just be funny, man. Just go back to being funny. Well, I think you're right about this medium. That's why we can do this. We will find our own audiences. Our own audiences will find us. They'll support and buy our products and our merch. Speaking of which, do you have any merch you need to push
on
tonight's show?
Do. No, I got 4 albums. One day I'll be like you and get more of those albums out there, but they're all over, iTunes. I got 4 albums. Get them. And, my podcast is called Pocket Party, the Pocket Party Podcast. And I'm on YouTube, Darren Carter on YouTube. And hey, by the way, have you set up that link tree yet? Because link tree is great. Like I told you put the link in the bio and it has
I looked it up and I'm going to do it. And I think that's an awesome thing. And I need to definitely put that in all of my stuff because, like Instagram only gives you like one line for all of your stuff,
Yeah, so that way you could be like, you could do like a live and be like, hit the link in my bio. And then boom, they'll go to the audio feed of Remasculate. They'll go to your YouTube vlog, to your YouTube channel, to your liberal lair. It's pretty cool, man.
We got to do it. Man, I'm so glad you did the virgin episode of the video. You broke my video cherry. Can I say that? I don't know if I can say that. I don't even, is that even a term they use anymore? Is that like a 1950s kind of like you broke the cherry?
Speaking of cherries, I remember this is crazy. I remember this girl thought this was sexy to take a cherry and tie a stem in a knot with her tongue. Was that that was a thing they used to do back in the 90s?
Yeah, that was a big 90s thing of.
Look what I did.
Yeah.
I'm good with my tongue.
Well, one of the other 90s things, remember this? Peeling the label on the beer bottle. Apparently it meant it meant something. If you could peel off the full label.
Oh, that meant like the chick was horny or something?
Yeah, there was some kind of meaning to that,
Or green M&Ms, like that makes you horny, I think, or something. Maybe we were just horny.
Maybe that was just it.
You're like peeling M&Ms.
I'm peeling labels. I'm tearing cherry stems. I'm throwing green M&Ms at people across the room.
Hey, lady. Yeah. Do you? Hey, I'm excited. So this is you think you start doing this, right?
I think so. I may try this with other guests, but I definitely want to do this again with you. We have done this now twice, and I really enjoy the conversations with you. These are fun. We're able to throw the ball back and forth and not be like, what are you talking about? I've never seen that before.
How was your day? Yeah, exactly. That's always my fear with podcasts that I'm going to be like, not know what to say or just not click with the person and just like,
yeah. Well, I guess I don't know. What do you want to talk about? Hey, did you see this? No, I didn't see it. Okay, then we won't talk about it then.
I know, dude. I know. Let's do. So next week, if you're available, we'll figure it out. Like you could. I'd love to have you on my Pocket Party podcast.
Let's do it again. I'm in COVID lockdown, buddy. I don't go out of town until January. Actually, I might as well promote that now. Thanks for bringing that up. January 10th and 11th, I think it is. I'm going to be at Wise Guys in Salt Lake City. So that is my next gig.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
My next gig is at the end of January. I'm going to be at Stir Crazy Comedy Club in Phoenix, Arizona. Stir Crazy at the end of January.
I've actually heard that's a pretty good club.
It's a good one. You would like it.
I think it was Tim Gaither was telling me that that's a good club. So
it is. Oh, by the way, Tim Gaither, he just did my podcast. So
did he?
He'll by the time you guys see this, look up Tim Gaither.
All right, man. Well, thanks for doing the show. I appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, Darren Carter, check out all of his stuff. Google, because that's what I always tell people. People go, what do you want to say? I go, Google Steve Mudflap McGrew. And then you get everything. Because you have to go, well, here's my Twitter, here's my name, here's my YouTube, I wasn't lucky enough to be one of those, it's this at everything. You know, some people have, my Instagram name is this, everything is this. I wasn't lucky enough. So I just go Google that and you'll get everything.
Yep. I'm just like Darren Carter. If they look up comedian Darren Carter and also like comedian Darren Carter podcast, because it's called Pocket Party, but you know.
Well, no matter what name you put in, if you type nude at the end of it, it's always
exactly. It's like, hey. It's like, who's that ghost over there? Blinded by the light. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thanks for joining me, guys. If you enjoyed the podcast, subscribe and hit that bell so you'll be see what I'm doing. Hit that bell so you'll be notified when another video goes up, guys. If you're listening on the podcast, the audio podcast, make sure you subscribe to that. Share it with everybody because that's if you don't share, people don't find us. We don't have publicity behind us. We do not have Podcast One behind us. We do not have iHeartRadio logo on all of our stuff. Yes, you might find it on there.
Or Spotify. Spotify. You might be on Spotify, but they're not giving you the $100 million Joe Rogan deal.
Exactly. I am on Spotify. My podcast can be found on Spotify, but I'm never in the recommended or the 100, like you said, the $150 million range. So, guys, enjoy it. Thanks for listening. Until next time, go listen to some Oak Ridge Boys. I bid you. See you later.
See you, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Bye.